This is a video on inline and out-of-line constraints when creating tables. So I'm going to create a table and I'm going to call it cars. Now my first value is going to be the car ID, and this is going to be a number. And I think we'll just go ahead and start with inline column constraints, which you put right after your columns individually. So, and it is good practice that when you do this, let me type this in really quick, that you don't have to assign a constraint ID, an ID for each column, but it is good practice because if you need to call something from the database and if you don't know what it's the name of the value, then it won't help you very much. There is a way to find it still, but it's easier if you were to name this. So this is going to be my primary key car, and this is the first car of the primary key. All right, so my first column with a constraint in the primary key is done. So next, I'm going to do perhaps the make of the car. And the make of the car is going to be a character. And we'll say that there's 15 values for the car. Now I'm going to also give this a value name. So this one is going to be, it's going to be a not null value, and it's going to be car. Now, since this isn't my primary key and it's my not null value, it's my first not null value, so I'm going to give it a number 1 because I'm going to have more than one not null value, and then it's not null. So not null, just as a refresher, means that there has to be a value inputted for this column. You cannot leave it blank. And we'll do the model of a car, which is also going to be for character 2, and we'll do just 15 again. Now this one's going to be not null car for the table, and then 2 and not null, unless or not. Oh no, you know what? Maybe I can do 2 more. We'll do 2 more. So next I'm going to do the VIN number of the car, which is going to be our character 2, because you can still use numbers in this, and VIN numbers use letters as well. So I want to make sure that I can use both. Now VIN numbers are super long. I don't remember how long they are, so I'm just going to give this 30 values that it can use. This is also going to be not null because every car has a VIN number. So this is going to be my car not null value 3, not null. And the last one, I want to do a different type of character type or data type. So I've done a number and strings, and so now I'm going to use a date value. So I'm going to say, or I guess we'll pretend that this is kind of a inventory of cars and I'm trying to sell them. So I'm going to put in a sold date. I think that if this was a business, I'd want to have it a lot more like when the cars arrived and made and all that. But we're just going to do a sold date. Now, if the car is sold, it'll tell me what day it was sold. But if cars aren't sold, then I do not want to have a not null value because then I'd have to have a value insert. If it's not sold, then I just, yes. So we're going to leave this as a null value. And this is a date character type. Can't forget that. So we're going to leave this like this. And now my table, oh, error at line 3, missing right parenthesis. Let me see what I did wrong really quick. All right, let me make this again really fast. Okay, table cars. Car, oops. Car ID. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 1 number constraints. Oh, I know exactly what I did wrong. I'm so sorry. That's my bad. I spaced. So I forgot to put constraint after each data type. So I want so right here I want to add in constraints. There we go, much better. And then I need to add constraints in again. Sorry about that. That's going to take up some extra time. For the model, I had the VIN, so that's good. And sold date, and that's good because I don't have a constraint for that one. There we go. Now my table's created. So now if I were to describe cars, it will show you which values are not null and which values are null and the data types that they have. So car IDs, numbers, and then make, model, and VIN all are character spaces, and sold is a date. So that is how you do an inline table constraint. Now I'm going to drop table cars. Oops, sorry, I messed up. There we go. Okay, so now I dropped the table. Now I'm going to create it again just to show you what an outline table constraint looks like, but it is pretty much the exact same thing. So create table and cars. So we're going to do the car ID, and this is a number data type, and then a make var character 2, 15 spaces, and then the model I wanted. And the VIN, which is also var character 2, and I think how many spaces did I give myself before 30, right? Okay, and then the last but not least is sold, and that was a date. Now, this is where it is different. So as you can see, all I've done so far is create my columns with their data types. That's all I have done. But now what I'm going to do is, instead of closing my table here and ending it, I'm going to just add on with the constraints now. So now I'm going to do constraints primary key car 1. Is that what I made the other one? Yeah, car 1. And this is going to be the primary key for car ID. And you would just continue going down the list like this for all of them. So not null, car 1, not null, and then it was, oops, wrong one. Oh my goodness, I can't type. And I'm gonna just end it here really quick instead of making this take even longer, except I messed up. Valid identifier. Oh, you know what? I don't think I can do not null there. So that would be, oh, no, yeah, that would be why, actually. My bad. So technically, it would just be the primary key and foreign key that you do for the out-of-line constraint, because the out-of-line constraint can go for more than one column. So that's my bad. And so that's the inline and out-of-line constraints. Now, something to add on to this is for the IDs on your tables, like car ID, or if you were doing something for a credit card and you had wanted the member ID, you would need to create a sequence so that whenever you call the next value, it automatically goes to the next sequence up. So to create a sequence, it's simply create sequence, and then you type in the sequence name. So we'll just say car. Sequence, and then start with, you normally start with the value of 101, 1001. So now my sequence has been created, and that is how you do inline, out-of-line table constraints and create a sequence for when you need to call the next value or current value.